I've published plenty of videos about the Dji Air 2S, and the more I use it, the more I find it sensational in all departments. In this video I will analyze Spotlight, which is one of the intelligent flight modes. It is actually my favorite one and a sort of Swiss knife, as it can be used in many different ways. In the first part I will show you how it is conventionally used, but later on we will discover how it can be used for tracking, how it can be combined with the excellent zoom capabilities of this drone, and how we can mimic some of the functionalities of Waypoint 2.0. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for new adventures about drones, videography and photography. Together with point of view and active track, Spotlight is part of Focus Track, the collection of intelligent flight modes of the Air 2S. The interface is very similar to the one of the Mavic Air 2S. I really like it as getting into it is extremely fast. All we need to do is draw a box around our target. After a couple of seconds, a square will appear around it with a small cross at the corner to confirm that the target has been detected. At the bottom we can see three icons to choose the different modes of focus track: active track, spotlight and point of interest. Since Spotlight is already highlighted in yellow, we are ready to go using this mode. Sadly, the three intelligent flight modes are not available when shooting at 5.4K resolution, or at frame rates higher than 30 frames per second. And this is a limitation, but starting with a higher resolution, when encoding the footage in 4K, it is possible to zoom and pan over a specific target during post-processing, achieving a result somehow similar to Spotlight. The good news is that they are available in all color modes, not only normal, but also the excellent 10-bit modes, Log and HLG. If the option Subject Scanning is turned on in the tab control of the settings, Focus Track will automatically detect people and vehicles by drawing a plus sign about them. I normally leave this option off as it is very confusing on screen, but I always turn it on when I'm doing some sort of tracking, as it is the only way to catch a moving target. In previous models of DJI drones, there was a mode named Course Lock that would keep a target in the center of the frame while flying parallel to it. Spotlight handles the situation extremely well. It is also possible to get closer or farther away from the target and modify the altitude. The target will always remain in the middle of the frame. In other words, the camera moves independently from the direction of the aircraft. As you can see, these sort of moves are especially interesting where there are several elements in the scene in different planes, thus creating a very pleasing parallax effect. In this other instance, I start flying very low and move straight towards the village while raising the altitude. The Spotlight mode in this case is not working horizontally as usual, but vertically, by keeping the village in the middle of the frame despite the change in elevation. Of course, I could operate this move manually, but controlling the gimbal scroll wheel while operating both the left and right sticks often leads to small mistakes. Using Spotlight, I get more consistent results and I can concentrate on composing the image on the screen, not having to worry about keeping the subject centered. In this other example, I use Spotlight to lock the camera to the tiny lighthouse, and then I'm free to do all sorts of moves to reveal this lovely bay in the east coast of Sicily, with Mount Etna in the background. I can then move in the opposite direction to show the Mediterranean Sea in all its glory. This is where the name Spotlight originates, keeping the drone hovering in a static position while following the movement of the target. Think for example of a TV camera following sport, action, or comedians or musicians moving on stage. Spotlight mode, like the other two within Focus Track, can be used with the excellent zoom modes available in the Air2S, and this can be very useful. In this case, I had to fly at a relatively high altitude to avoid surrounding obstacles, but I can still have a close-up footage of the car I'm following by increasing the zoom level. Let's see another example of Spotlight using a zoom. I would like to perform some of the moves we saw earlier around this monastery, but I am too far away. One way would be to get closer to the action. Let's suppose it is not possible because of regulations, or because of a river, or the sea between me and the target. By using the excellent zoom capabilities of this drone, I can use Spotlight for very interesting footage even from further away, which is often very useful in urban environments. If you want to know more about excellent zoom functionalities in the Air2S, you can watch my in-depth video about it. There is a link at the top of the screen right now. Drones are often used for filming sport and general action, following cars, bicycles, boats, people skiing, and so on. Within Focus Track there is a mode dedicated to tracking, Active Track. I will do a specific video about it in the next few days. I will put a link in the description and on screen here as soon as it will be published. Or else, even better, you can subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified. In tracking situations, Spotlight offers an alternative way of following a moving target, often even more interesting. As you can see in Spotlight mode, the target is kept on the center of the frame, and I'm free to move autonomously the aircraft in any direction. I can get closer or further away, increase or decrease the altitude, move sideways, and so on. Waypoints has traditionally been my favorite intelligent flight mode. We can specify several points where the different parameters relative to the aircraft are recorded: position, altitude, orientation of the camera, speed. The drone will then fly from the first point to the last one, handling smoothly the transition from one point to another. It can be used to set up repetitive tasks, like monitoring building sites or agricultural fields, but it is also very useful for creative moves that are otherwise difficult to perform manually. Sadly, Waypoints has not been added to the Air2S for marketing reasons, together with manual aperture of the shutter and omnidirectional sensors. These are the only things missing in this excellent drone, but Dji Air has kept these powerful weapons for a next incarnation of the Mavic 3 Pro. A move that I often perform using Waypoints is the crane, very hard to pull out manually. I am above this monastery with the camera pointing down. I would like to progressively move backwards while lowering the altitude, thus revealing the front of the building and the background. Using Waypoints, I would set one point at the very beginning and another one at the end of the move, and the aircraft will perfectly handle the transition in between. With Air2S, bring the drone to the same position as for Waypoint 1. Draw a box around the center of the monastery to enter Spotlight mode. The camera is now locked on the building, so I can concentrate on the move, going back and lower, while Spotlight handles the transition of the camera angle. I can obviously invert the move. or modify the angle of the aircraft at point 1 so that at the end of the move I can reveal Mount Etna having a white smoke in the background. A second example a bit more complex. I am again on top of the monastery, but this time at a different angle. If I was using Waypoint, I would set 3 points. I would move very fast to the right, farther away from the building, while lowering the altitude. Then I would move toward the right, getting close to the front of the monastery, with Mount Etna right behind it. As you can see, using Spotlight I can get a very similar result, as the camera maintains its position pointing at the monastery, taking away a big chunk of the work from me. Click on this link to watch my video about Point of Interest, another intelligent flight mode of the Air 2S. I will publish it in a few days. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. See you soon.